back to my layout. So I'm making some slow and steady progress here on the layout. Right now I am working on this like little section right here. So I kind of changed up my design a little bit, and kind of what I talked about was when you do model railroading, you always change up. And I tell you what, even the best of them, I mean, if you watch Model Railroader Video Plus, and I was watching, they were doing a thing that's called the Log Blog, and Dave Pop was doing this. I don't know if you've seen Model Railroader Video Plus, but it's very entertaining. But he was talking about how he was laying out this sawmill and stuff like that, and he was talking about he had a nice, beautiful plan. This guy's, I mean, he's a seasoned vet, and he's changed it up so much. So basically, I don't feel so bad because I had to change up my layout a little bit. But initially, I had planned to put in a little bridge here, and I was going to do a little river here, and it was going to kind of be what was feeding my log pond. Well, like I said, it kind of changed up quite a bit. I used to have a bunch more switches in this area, and I took all those switches out, and right now I have just the one number 5 switch coming in here. So, because as I started thinking about this and started doing this, I thought, well, I want to develop this into much more than just a run-in-the-mill logging camp. I want to have a nice sawmill here. I want to have some other outbuildings. I want to have a factory that does planing and stuff like that, and it's a warehousing. So I'm making this into a much larger little bit of an area here than what I initially thought about doing. So I was thinking, well, I still want to do the log pond, and then I thought, well, what heck, I'm changing some things up. So I always liked tunnels. Tunnels always provide visual interest into your layout. So I thought, well, I'm going to put a tunnel right in here. Don't know 100% where. And then I thought, well, hey, if I'm going to do a tunnel here, and then maybe I'll build like a little mountain this area. And now I'm thinking of doing like a little sheer, like little cliff off, and a small little waterfall. So, easier said than done. So first things first, since I didn't plan on putting a tunnel in here, I had to kind of figure it, give it some serious thought on how I wanted to lay it out. And I used my track planning software, Anyrail. And basically I created, since I don't have the tunnel ports, I created like a little foam template to be sort of my tunnel port, and I used that really crumbly styrofoam stuff because I didn't want to use anything nice for it. And I tell you what, the more I use this type of stuff, you can get this real cheap at Home Depot, but leave it at Home Depot. This stuff, it's a pain in the butt to work with. It's great for just filling, but don't use it for anything that you're trying to sculpt or trying to do anything. You're better off with more denser foam. Anyways, so I created my little template, and as you can see, I can kind of set it kind of where I want it, and that's going to give me my general what the size of the actual port, the tunnel port, is going to be. And I decided to choose what was like a timber type tunnel port because I saw it, liked it. It's my railroad, right? So I'm doing it. So now I was trying to think of where I want to plot this out. So I'm thinking, well, I can push it up here, but then that's kind of, that's going to be a pretty massive mountain, right? And so I thought, well, I can, so I kind of just was taking this and kind of visualizing it, so that's kind of how I started with. And then I took my charcoal pencil, and then I just kind of made some marks here, right? And so my mountain is going to kind of, my tunnel is going to kind of go from here to here. And this is going to be not so much mountainous as it's just going to be like a little bit of a flat area up in here. You're going to have your tunnel here, and I'm going to have a small little creek kind of like up in here, some nice little woods, and then I'll just have a nice little sheer drop, and then a small little creek feeding log pond. So there we go, that's where we're at. So now that I have that, I do have some material that I bought at the craft store that I'm going to use to form the tunnel. So I got it, that's the next step. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of pin some more subterranean foam here to kind of give me a little bit of a spacing out here on the edge to where I can glue my other material down, you know, to give it just a little bit of a space around your train and so forth and all that. And then I'll probably trim that subterranean to kind of fit this other piece here. So I got some 3/4 inch risers here, and I got a bunch of foam nails, and now I'm going to pin this down. So like I said, I made my marks kind of where I want this. So first things first, I'm going to just take my first foam nail and I'm just going to place that where I want it. I'm going to come around here and get that. Shouldn't need much because just the pressure of the bend should really hold this in place. And if it doesn't, I could throw another pin in, which I may do up here. Okay, got that. I'm going to come in. I got marked right here on my pink foam top. Come in with another foam nail. Do the exact same thing. And pin this all in place. And then once I make sure that this is where I like it, just like with the other subterranean foam, once I get it where I want it, I'm going to come in, I'm going to put a nice bead of glue right here on the inside of each one of these, and then that's going to keep these secure. I'm not going to put a bead of glue on the outside because, like I said, I'm going to take, I got some of this, I was going to use styrene, but I couldn't find any at craft store, so I bought some of this. It's like a corrugated sort of plastic, but it does bend, as you can see. It's got some flex to it. Now, for me to flex this, of course, like I said, that's got some rigidity to it. What I'm going to end up doing is, after I cut it to my size, I'm going to use some clamps and clamp it up there. Okay, let's see. So you can see so maybe what I'll end up doing is when I go to glue this in, I actually hold this. Let's see if I can pin this, get to where to keep this nice and straight. There's that natural tendency to want to bend in. There we go, that did it. Yeah. Alright, so that kind of helped because it was kind of having that lean in. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to kick on my hot glue gun because it takes a little while to heat up, and then we'll glue this in place. Alright, so it looks like the glue gun here is pretty much ready. You can tell when you start seeing the glue starting to drip out of the nozzle on the hot glue gun, then you know it's hot enough to work with. Alright, so I'm going to come in here and try and hold this nice and steady and just tack in. Don't need a lot. Tack in some sections. Hot glue's good for a lot of things with model railroading. Certain things I would never use it for, of course. Like I would never use hot glue as a way of gluing down your track, for example. would actually recommend using something that's a little flexibility to it, not as rigid. So if you decide you want to pull the track off later, you know, it's not going to tear something up for one, and also it you want to be able to not damage your track. It still makes the track usable. And that is pretty much that. That's going to take a little bit of time to set, so I'm going to let this dry a little bit and turn off my, I usually keep this like plugged into a power strip, so all I have to do is just flip it on and off, but turn off the hot glue gun, and once it's set, I can pull the pins here and I can work on the next section moving on up forward. Alright, so while this has been drying, I went ahead and I cut those corrugated plastic sheets that I had, and I cut those to kind of fit right in here. So essentially I got two pieces. This is the length of the tunnel. It's not going to be a very big tunnel. One piece is going to butt right up in there, just like that. And then the other piece is going to be on the inside. Now, of course, since this is an inner curve, this inside piece is going to be going to need to be shorter than, of course, the outside piece. But that's not a big deal. What I was just going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the one piece here on the outside, and then when it comes to the inside piece, I'm going to just kind of lay it up in there, and then we'll trim it off with what we need. Some of the foam, I think I might do as a combination of two glues. I'm going to put the foam tack glue down here, and then, but when I get it clamped in here, I'm also going to put a bead of hot glue here, and then a bead of hot glue on the outside. Gives it nice, good rigidity. So let's get that set up and get going to town on this. I got myself a nice little tool for spreading the glue. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of take this initially and just kind of drizzle it, kind of like frosting. There you go. Then we're going to take this guy, and hey, this works out pretty darn good. Smear that glue up and around on all the foam pieces. Set that somewhere, get back at it. Okay, now on this corrugated sheeting, I don't know if you can really tell too much. I got a end here that's a little high and end here that's a little lower. That's because I'm kind of following the contour of the land here. See, it's a little higher here, a little lower here, so I want this to kind of slope as it's going that way. And where I cut it, this edge here is a little bit on the rougher side. This here's the nice smooth straight side, so we're going to put that down on the actual board here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp. Sometimes this might be one of those moments where it'd be good to have a helper. Okay, I'm just going to, ooh, look at that. Foam tack glue, look at it, just kind of holds it right there in place. Little helping hands. Okay, I'm going to come in here, and I'm not going to, you don't want to crank on these clamps. This is just hold this in place a little bit, let the glue do the work. Hopefully this works perfectly fine. We have ourselves a tunnel wall. Okay. Now this guy is heated up, and we got a little grip. try and stretch my cords. See how it works, and then I'm just going to kind of come in and okay. And obviously, I need myself another stick of glue. So, that is that. Not looking too terrible. Alrighty, so that is the first wall. So we'll let that set up now and put up the next wall, and then we'll be looking at putting on the tunnel top. Alright, so we came back. Day 2 of Let's Build a Tunnel. So, as you can see, I got the one wall up here, and I started working on this a little bit, and I got a little bit ahead of myself. It's going to be kind of hard to work on anything once you get this tunnel built, especially when you get the top and everything else done. So this stuff here, you know, it's got all this nice flexibility to make it laid nice and easy, but it also has all these nice little gaps. So you want to actually put something down in here. Bachmann Easy Track doesn't necessarily need it because of the road bed, so because it will lay flat pretty much on anything, especially this stuff. But you do want that just for appearance purposes. So, so what I'm going to be using is pick this up at a train show, but you can buy it online. It's from Scenic Express. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it's plaster wrap. Scenic Express sells it. You can get Woodland Scenics has it as well. I think, you know, I'm not sure if you can just get it at like hardware stores or craft stores or not. I think I saw something very similar to it at a craft store, but it wasn't as wide. It was small little strip holes. So what I have over here is a little thing of water. I cut the strips in the small sizes, just using plain old scissors. Never used this stuff before, so this will be a little bit of an exciting adventure, I guess. Either way, so we're gonna go ahead. From what like I said, I've never used it before, but reading the instructions, it says dip a single piece quickly in water to activate the plaster and drape over a entire mountain, overlapping previous edges by 1 inch. Smooth with fingers to form and create terrain contours. For greater strength, apply a second layer at a 90 degree. I never seen that in any of the videos. The cloth will begin to set up in 5 to 10 minutes. Oh, that's not bad at all, really. Okay, so basically what they're saying is you don't want to soak this in water, because I think if you soak it, it's just going to wash the plaster cloth right off. You dip it, lay it down, and then to increase the strength, I do know they often said of layering this, and you kind of want to, like if you're doing a large area, you want to overlap these, you know. But they're also saying is do a 90 degree like crosshatch, and that's supposed to help with increased rigidity. I don't think I've ever seen that in any of the videos, which is kind of interesting. All right, here we go. We're just gonna give this a quick dip, and lay it down, and smooth. Okay, and I'm getting it like into my corners here, nice. Now since I'm on a curve, I'm just kind of, that's why I cut them in small pieces, so it makes it easy to work. And this, you know, you get this nice and smooth, and then you don't have to do any sanding. Really sticks to the foam good. Okay. Well, I got a lot of plaster clothing to do here, so you pretty much get the gist of what I'm doing here. So once we get this all done, we'll be putting on the other side here, and so we'll catch up then. So I'm just going to give these a nice coat of some black. Like I said, these, not trying to get them perfect, just trying to get them to where they're a little bit blacked out. And I'm just using some black acrylic here, thinning it down with a little bit of water, because this stuff's, it's not a bad paint. This is Artist Loft, you get at the local craft store, but it's kind of on the thick side. So, and I got this side here done. I'm just doing the other wall now. So, making progress, slowly and steady. Okay, now with this still kind of wet, what I'm going to do is grab a brush. I got some full strength Mod Podge, and I'm just going to kind of put a little bit of Mod Podge up here on this like little ledge area right here, and along the side here. I'm going to try and keep anything from where the track will be laying, because I don't want it to interrupt the how the track sets. So I'm just going to dip my brush right into the Mod Podge and just go to town on this. Okay, so now I got some this stuff here, which this is Scenic Express. This is coarse natural soil and dirt. I actually like using this stuff. I really like it for like riverbeds. Like if you're doing a dry riverbed, I think it works really good. If you're trying to do just a dirt road, if you're going to use it for a dirt road, you probably, especially for HO scale, you want to sift this. What you can do is actually sift this down and get a little bit more finer. But it works great for anything that you're trying to do, just like a little bit of a dirty area. So I'm going to grab a little spoon, try and grab some of this little more finer stuff, and then I'm just going to kind of toss it in there liberally. Like I said, I don't care if I get any up on that paint, because actually, it's actually what I'm trying to do is get that paint to look a little dirty. So, not sure how well you could see that or not. That's kind of the look I'm going to get. Let me grab the camera and zoom in. So, you can see that's kind of the look I was trying to go for. Whoop, sorry about the shaky camera here. But as you can see, just trying to get a little bit of a coarse dirt look to it. And I'm going to do the same thing on this end. And now I'll do something on the other side of the wall. But I just wanted it to where it just didn't look like a black wall, because this, while that's fine, I wanted it to look a little dirty. So, all right, and we're gonna move on. So I basically just took the shop vac real quick and just did as gently as I could swept the track area, because like I said, trying to keep that fairly clean. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I got a pipette here, a little pipette, and I have some homemade scenic cement, ugh, can't speak tonight. And this is basically just some isopropyl alcohol. So Woo. So this is 70% isopropyl alcohol. So get some of this into the pipette, and then I'm just gonna dribble what I can here. There you go. And I'm sure if you've seen train videos, the idea of the alcohol is to break the surface tension. There we go. Alright, so we got that. I have these sprayers I picked up at the craft store, and they are not fine as sprayers. So right now they're just storage containers. Glue here, and get some of this. There's all kinds of people that tell you how to make your own homemade scenic cement. You could also buy scenic cement, but pretty much all this is just you're just taking white glue or Mod Podge and diluting it with water, and then putting a couple of drops of dish soap in there. And I'm applying this pretty liberal. And then what I'm going to do is, after this sets, I'm going to take a paper towel and sop up the excess. Probably make all this stuff look like, hey, Jim knows what he's doing. You know, he's a seasoned model train vet, but I'll be honest with you, all the stuff I learned from just watching YouTube videos and model railroader stuff, and that's kind of how I learned at least some of this. Alrighty, so we're gonna let that set at least for a while, and then I'm going to come in. I got to get the track situated on here, and then we'll ballast the track up. So may have a different shirt on because that's probably going to roll over into the next day. So this will be right now where I'm at. This is my second day, but you know, some of this is like wait time, dry time, and stuff like that. So probably got all together, maybe an hour tops, hour and a half at the very most. I don't know, somewhere around there. But yeah, there we go. All right, so let this dry. Alrighty, so we're on to day 3 of the tunnel build here. So I had to let some of this set up and dry. I got the other sidewall here all done, so that's kind of how that one looks. That's going to kind of go right, and it's going to fit right along this curve. But before I put that in, because I'm not going to get to this track pretty much after this, I want to actually tack this track down, and that way it's in place. And I'm probably going to ballast the track and all that. So there we go. And there we go. So now I'm going to come in here, make sure everything's where I want it, and just come and press down. And that is it. And like I said, a little bit of time, make sure everything lines up. There we go. That looks pretty good. And that's all she wrote. So that's pretty much it for the track. So okay, so got my other piece of my side rail. Make sure it's fitting fine. Looks actually pretty good. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now is just this little section right up here at the front, and the section right up here. I'm just going to do some quick ballasting. So once I get that done, we'll come in and we'll put in the other sidewall, and then it's basically let stuff set and dry again. That's the you know, like a lot of, one thing about model railroading is a lot of hurry up and wait. So, all right, there we go. That's where we're at. Okay, so kind of got a little bit ahead of myself and actually was just modeling away and not paying attention to. I was trying to hoping to record most of what I was doing with this. So, anyways, got the ballast all in, got the wall up. So. Didn't really show you guys doing that, but you see me installing the other wall. Now the only difference with this wall was, unlike before where I could use the clamps and then I could use the force of the outside bend to hold it up, this I had to pin up there to kind of keep it all in place. So I'm gonna grab the camera off the tripod and I'll move in and show you exactly up close how it looks so far. Okay. Alright, so you can see where I, like I said, where I pinned this. And basically I'm just using my foam nails, and used a bunch of them because it kept wanting to pull away from the side here. So let's go around here, and you can kind of see somewhat, you know, the inside part. And you can see it's hugging up against that edge pretty good. I still have to come in with the hot glue. And you can see my ballasting work. This will actually be this is actually the first time I've ever ballasted any railroad track. So, you know, I know Easy Track is not the easiest to ballast, and technically, they say it's designed with the road bed to where you don't have to ballast it, but I wanted to at least put some ballast down to make it look a little bit nicer. You know, there's still a lot of work to be done on here, and I'm not sure. As you can see, this is what it'd be kind of looking like as you're kind of looking into the tunnel. It looks like this white might still be showing up too much in there. I think even when you have the tunnel ports and all that, you're going to see that white. So I may end up going in there with a brush and just at least putting some brown on there so it doesn't show much. This side over here that you're seeing here, this is going to have the same this dirt ballast I have, and I may even just take this dirt ballast and run it all the way through. So that's how it looks so far. This is the outside of the tunnel. Now, of course, this is going to get all built up with some scenery. You know, I'm going to be building this like I said, it's a little mountain right here. So that's to come. And that's essentially this tunnel video. And I'll show, I may add on the parts where I'm actually building it up and with some of the mountain as well here. So, but we'll get you in the next episode. So thanks for watching.